Fingerstyle Thursday. Hello there. Apologies, I've been ill a week and that's why I look and sound like shit. For this week we're playing around with 7, and that means we're playing in a 7/8 time signature where technically we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Scary. And also basically we're arpeggiating, we're playing 7th arpeggios. So we're arpeggiating through an A-7, a D-7 and an F major 7. Okay, and that's how we're creating these lovely patterns. Let's talk about everything that puts them together. We're mainly going to focus on hammer-ons today, okay? So let's get started. So, as I said, we're working really with 3 chords, an A-7, a D-7, and an F major 7, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the arpeggios of each one of these chords, and all I do is I recommend that we get used to those at the moment. So the A minor shape that I'm playing around lives up here. Now, this is an A minor that basically is a E minor shape on the 7th fret. So if you play an E minor chord, but play it on the 7th fret where your index finger goes, that's also an A minor chord. Now the arpeggio for the 7th, we're going to play on the 3rd string. You're going to play 7 with your index, then 9 with your ring, 7, 9. Then move to the 2nd string, and I need you to play 7, then 8. So it'll be index, then middle. And then finally move to the A string, and you play the 7th with your index. 7, 9, 7, 8, 7. And that is the arpeggio itself. So I recommend practicing these arpeggios in 2 different ways. One, you just pluck every single note. So pluck, 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 pluck. For me, I am going thumb, thumb, index, index, and then middle. But you can just use your thumb, you can use your thumb index, whatever you fancy. So there you go, that's all thumb. But basically get used to sort of where your left hand is going. And then when you feel like you're used to that, I'd start introducing hammer-ons. So basically, whenever you've got 2 notes on the string, we can play a hammer-on. So from your 3rd string, is 7 to the 9th fret, I can hammer on there. Then on my 2nd string, the 7 to 8, I can also hammer on there. And then my last note of the arpeggio, I've got nowhere to hammer. So I could go hammer, hammer, note. Hammer, hammer, pluck. Which is actually sort of a phrase of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I recommend practicing that first. So we're going to have a look at the other 2 chords and take them for a spin as their arpeggios. A D-7 is probably easiest. For the arpeggio, again, we start with the 3rd string. I need to play open, then 2, and I'm going to play that with my middle finger. Open, then 2. Then on the 2nd string, we're going to play open, then 1 with that index. And then actually on the A string, that's open. And that's sort of a D-7 arpeggio. So again, start with plucking it. Make sure everything's nice and even, and then we start to introduce the hammer-ons. So you get that nice run of 5 notes. 1 more chord. So the last chord is an F major 7, which is based around your F chord here, which is sort of, that's my way of playing it anyway. It's based around an E shape. If you play an E major chord and then move it up a fret, you have an F major. So I like to do this, but I always like to incorporate the high G into everything. So technically it's an F add 9, but now we're getting fancy. Ooh. Okay, right. Anyway, major F major 7 arpeggio. It's actually, on the 3rd string, it's going to be 4, 5, which I recommend playing middle finger, ring finger, middle ring. Then on the second string, we need to go 3, 5, which is index ring. And then on your A string, we're going to play that with our index finger. So we go 4, 5, 3, 5, 3. And again, introduce those hammer-ons. So this actual little hammer-on run, that's hard to say, hammer-on run, is what's going on in the piece, but because I can hear it in 7, I'm basically adding 2 more notes, because we sort of have, if we go back to the A minor 7 arpeggio, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then from that position, I'm plucking the second string open and the fourth string open. And that makes my 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, as stupid as it might sound, if counting to 7 is too hard, because when you're trying to focus on that musically, it's really hard to feel it. I'm actually also trying to say it as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Some of you will find that much more helpful. Some of you will be like, mate, what the fuck, that's even worse. Try both. So it's important to get used to this pattern nice and slowly. Either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, which is sort of how I've notated it with the beans in the music. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that is 1 bar. So let's actually talk about the piece then. So on the very, very, very first line, I have 4 bars of the A minor 7. So that means you need to play the A minor 7 pattern 4 times. Now, getting used to the rhythm of the 7 might feel a bit unnatural at first, okay? Which is why it's important 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because you might find your natural rhythm wants to wait for 8 and so will cause a gap somewhere. Okay, so let's talk about the next line. So here we're playing the D minor 7 pattern, and we need to play this for 2 bars, so that means twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'm going up to my F major 7 pattern, and that's twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then have a repeat in the music, which basically it's the double dots with the black line. So that sends us back to our first line. And then, so we're going to play all that line of A minor 7 again. But then actually we have to go to the third line because it's an alternate ending, okay? So you play the first line, you play the second line, then you play the first line, and then you play the third line. And on the third line, we just actually have 4 bars of F major 7. So that's more of an exercise than anything. Right, over to YouTube for the rest of this tutorial. So, just to go through, our first line is 4 bars of A minor. Then we hit the second line, D minor 7. Then we go to F. Then we go back to the first line. Then we go to the third line, which is 4 bars of our F major 7. Now, in moving between the chords, the last 2 notes I'm playing are opens. So please take advantage of this. For example, when you've got the D minor 7, my left hand doesn't stay there for very long. So that means you can start moving to your F a little bit sooner. And it's the same from the F. I then started moving to my A minor 7. And it's because the sustain of the 2 open notes basically takes over the chord, but creates some movement time as well. Clever, 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 or lazy, 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 whichever one you decide. Right, let's talk about the very, very, very last line. So on the last line, we have the D minor 7 for 1 bar, then to the F for 1 bar, and then we get the A minor 7 for 2 bars. There's a repeat, so that sends us back to the start of the line, so we have to do all of that again. D minor 7, F major 7, and then the A minor 7 twice. So, once we've done that twice, the very, very last 2 bars, you play D minor 7 again. Then we play the F major 7, but we do something a little different. So we play hammer, hammer, pluck. Now we're not going to go to 2-4. We're going to pluck, and we're going to slide up 2 frets to the 5th fret. So that's hammer, hammer, pluck, slide. Hammer, hammer, pluck, slide. Which technically works out as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that last note is held for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's how our piece ends. The main thing about this is an arpeggio exercise, okay? But basically you have to take it slow, and the most important thing is that everything is even. Spend your time practicing that. Love you, goodbye.